the same. We were talking about the issue of the members of parliament who are in Mombasa. This was right before the break. And, you know, there's huge amounts of money that is being used in terms of the induction and meetings. It's not the first time we're seeing a lot of these inductions happening right now at the expense of taxpayers. Does this, you know, fly in the face of the austerity measures that the government is trying to implement?
You know, I think it's it really a big challenge where a lot of us Kenyans are going through really the austerity measures that have been put in place by government. Taxes are going sky high. Every day in the papers we hear about taxes being increased, and all the while also expenditures being decreased. That means that services are going to go, we're going to get less services. But then in the face of that, to have the induction processes and all that goes into the induction processes start to cost us, you know, exorbitant amount of money, then it becomes a real challenge. And as you said, it does fly in the face of the austerity measures that we're trying to put in place. So yes, induction needs to take place. As you know, I run a business and I have to train my staff. I have to make sure that they know what they're doing. I have to make sure they know the operations, the business operations. It's the same in government. But at the same time, as I was mentioned earlier, you can have a strategy, an education strategy or a training strategy that can cost better. For example, when I used to work at the World Bank, we used to have a stage process where some of the basic training you can do online. You can do an online course, and then the next year you can do, you know, a training at a location, and then the last one you can do an on-the-job training. That way, not only do you target the specific area of training because not all members that are being trained need to be trained in the same exact ways. There's different counties that have different specific things. So you can do the general training, for example, on Zoom. Then you can have, you know, an in-person maybe workshop that doesn't cost, you know, the 40 million that you're talking about, and then you have a third tier that's on-the-job training. So I think we need to be creative about how we train. I don't think just saying going for a workshop or going for training and that costing us a lot of money in terms of per diems, allowances, etc., be the only way to go. We're living in 2023 now. We have chat GTP, you know, in the space. We're going through AI. Surely we cannot be using these kind of antiquated methodologies to teach, right? So we need to step up. Kenya is a Silicon Savannah. We cannot give ourselves the excuse of saying, you know, we can't start doing these things. You mentioned earlier, during COVID, meetings were being held on Zoom. So this is not a stretch. I think there are ways to rationalize the spending. Training does need to happen. Some of the legislators who are elected are not alive to the matters, for example, of budget, but we can think about this better. And I mean, it really looks really bad where, you know, we have a government that's kind of has the hustler narrative, then spending exorbitant amounts of money on training.